Ladies and gents, welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, we're talking about Nervos Network and why this thing is shooting up to the moon. First and foremost, you're going to want to find out as much as possible about Nervos Network. One thing they do is they put on these hashing it out spaces. I highly recommend that you guys check this out. They've got Matt Quinn, Jordan Mack, who will be in my upcoming documentary that I am putting together. A big shout out to him. But this is happening Thursday, April 18th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So these two guys are the best in the business, especially when it comes to talking about Nervos Network, because they understand this at a super deep level. You can ask them any question you want. I can guarantee it. If you guys missed out on this mega community spaces that we did, I shouldn't say that I was just a guest speaker, but over 25,000 people tuned in. I think that is a great testament to show how many people are actually interested in Nervos Network, in what the community is doing. So this is great, to say the least. This is awesome. So check it out. I will link to this in the description or the pin comment. .bit, guys. Like, I've been following .bit for years, and they have been absolutely killing it. But they are now going to support RGB++, which allows them to interact with the Bitcoin network. So they are now like the premier decentralized identity for the Bitcoin network. And I say premier because .bit, like, there's no joking around with .bit. They have become one of the largest decentralized identities, like, in the space. So 115,000 followers on their Twitter handle already. They've got the edge when it comes to RGB++, Nervos Network. Like, man, it's really cool to see. Joy ID, folks, if you guys have not downloaded the Joy ID wallet, try it. Just go to your app store, find Joy ID, or better yet, come to their Twitter handle and figure out where you can download this thing. But it is one of the easiest, most user-friendly wallets that I've ever used in my life. And I'm not saying that, folks, just to say it. I had to recover my wallet on another phone, and I had the Joy ID wallet. It took 30 seconds, if that. It took 10 seconds to recover my wallet. It was an unreal experience. If you guys are new to Nervos Network, or you just want to talk about Nervos Network to some of the best in the business, head on over to Nervos Nation, and they've got a great Telegram group. They've got a great NFT store. I think you guys could find a home there very easily. You don't know how much excitement I get now when I see my top 2 favorite crypto projects in the top 100, folks. CKB and ICP. Those are my horses in this race. I've got a few others, but these are my main bags. So the whole market is kind of down today. CKB down 12%, but that's okay. That really is okay. From the last time I left off with my technical analysis, I was kind of looking for the possibility of maybe this inverse head and shoulders, something like this to occur. And now I do think that this is still in motion, folks. I do think that this is still in motion. I do think that we're going to see the price dip on CKB possibly a little bit further. This is the weekly chart. I'm being honest here. This isn't financial or trading advice. This is just my feelings, my temperature reading on the market. But the last 2 months, 3 months have been absolutely crusher for CKB. Like, we've seen this thing take off like a rocket. We've seen this thing go 1,000%, 1,100% up. So yeah, this thing, after running 1,000%, needs to take a breather, folks. It just does. I do think that we're going to see this 50 moving average on the weekly chart kind of ring right up like this. And I do think that we're going to either see somewhat of a ascending triangle form. I think we're going to see somewhat of a pennant form. I think that we might see somewhat of a flag to form, because as of right now, price to me is just too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. It's a very thin Ichimoku cloud, which kind of worries me too, because price can break through that very easily. I don't suspect that will happen unless there is some sort of cataclysmic event that does occur. But I am hopeful that we see something like this play out, and I'm hoping to see price action bounce off of this 50 moving average at some point, probably going into July. So maybe June, somewhere in there. It just depends, folks. We need to keep our eye on the market right now, because when you start to see a bull flagpole like this, we're looking for the formation of a flag or a pennant or that ascending triangle that I mentioned. So it's too early to tell right now on the weekly as to what's going to happen. Right now, there is, just by looking at this on the daily chart, there is a little bit of a rising wedge that I am kind of seeing happen right now. I don't know what's going to happen with this, how far this thing's going to retrace, but we can kind of see how this thing is kind of squeezing into this upward angle, which is never a good sign. So this is a somewhat fairly decent size rising wedge too. So, I mean, it's a couple months old, but you know, I might expect this thing to come down to the 0.02, 0.016 ish level. And if we look back on our weekly chart, let's say that that does happen, and I hope that this thing continues to pump like on God mode steroids. But you know, if we see this price kind of wiggle on down to the 61.8, somewhere in there, I think that would be reasonable to propel price to the next level. But either way, I think that we're going to have to wait and see what happens maybe over the next month. It might be kind of slow, guys. So right now, it is what it is. So with that said, that there really isn't many other updates that I can really provide to you at this time. There could be this possibility of some sort of head and shoulders pattern that takes us down to those levels. And we're not talking anything drastic here. You know, maybe like a 15 to 20% decrease in price. But that's nothing still when you talk about how much this thing has pumped. Even since this thing has started pumping, I mean, this thing's still going to be up 400 or 500%. I hate to be bearish here, guys, but it's just kind of what I'm feeling right now in the markets. I'm not bearish on Nervos Network. It's the price structure that kind of is giving me some weird vibes. We'll look at Bitcoin. This is the perpetual futures. I want to just look at the Binance Tether. Actually, let's look at the Coinbase to the dollar. So the last time I did Bitcoin technical analysis, I had thrown up a very nice diagram of what I thought could possibly happen. And I was saying to watch out for this resistance right along these levels. And we do have gone fans that I have thrown up on Bitcoin. And if we see this thing start to break this $60,000 level, I mean, the next stop is like 48,800, 49,000, somewhere in that area. But I would like to see Bitcoin kind of continue to bounce up into this little squeeze, this little squeeze area up here. And I would love to see maybe somewhat of an ascending triangle form where we can propel to the next side. But I mean, I'm not really too confident in the markets at this point in time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on Nervos Network. Smash the like button if you're still here. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments section what you think Nervos Network CKB is going to run to this next bull market. Peace.